What is up, YouTube? What's up, Xtreme Gainz family? I'm Chuck. This is Xtreme Gainz. I am not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is or ever will be financial advice. Please do not take it as such. Today is Wednesday, last day of the month, August 31st, 2022, and this is my Amc Gme and SPY Algo Exposed daily update and preparation video for tomorrow, September 1st, 2022, brand new month and beyond. As always, I hope all of you had a great day in the market today, and I hope you were able to take advantage of the volatility and make some extreme gains for yourselves. I'm going over all my regulars, like always, my snake Algo method for all three tickers and some macro comparatives. So with all of that said, let's dig in. First order of business, the experiment from last night. I asked you all and told you all the analytics were not making sense. Could you please participate in this experiment and do me a favor and hit either the like button or the dislike button so I could get an actual, real, tangible count, specifically with me asking you to do so, which I never do. And here are the results. 1,030 views. Views went down again last night. Down to 1,030, just barely over 1,000 views. We had 288 people hit the like button. Thank you very much. And we had 14 assholes hit the dislike button. Thank you all very much as well, for a whopping total of 301 people out of the over 1,000 people that interacted with the video last night as requested. Yeah, so there you go. You guys can take from that what you will. I have my thoughts, theories, and feelings towards that, so I'll leave it at that. I wanted to share that with you, though, because you did participate, and I did want to say thank you to all of you. I would love nothing more than to see the analytics go up, obviously, or at least stay at something that's tangible, that's worth doing this. Here, I'll even go one step further. When I say worth doing this, this is what I mean. 28 days estimated revenue for over 20,000 views, $128 for the previous month. All right, so like I told y'all, man, I'm not doing this because I need to. I'm doing this because I want to, and I guess my hope is, maybe I'm naive in thinking this, but my hope is, or was, that the work and the effort that goes into this would be shown, seen, and recognized by those who are consuming the content. Therefore, they would interact with and do the simple 1 second reciprocation at a minimum, let alone the other two that are available to us as content consumers, and that is a share button and a comment button and all of that stuff. And it's unfortunate that only the numbers are what they are, and only a third of the people coming to watch these are actually contributing to that. So I appreciate y'all that did. All right, so moving on to today, we had the live stream here today on the YouTube channel and on the Twitch channel. At one time, we had just over 230 people here today. Thank you all so much for coming by. It was good to see a lot of y'all again for the first time in a long time, and a couple of new people stopped by today. Hello to all of you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm glad that you're here. I hope you stick around. So the live stream was off the chain. Extreme gains were had across the board. Premium Discord members showed up unbelievably today with some awesome gains today. Congrats to all of you. As always, my scalp setups for the 7 tickers that I set up every single day provided 13 entries from trigger, the highest ROI being 80%, multiples of it, from there down to 20%, and everything in between, and multiples of everything in between. Super happy and grateful for those. I showed them on stream as well. I also got to trade on stream today and kicked ass right out of the gate as well. Always grateful for that. And to all of you out here in our extended family in the YouTube stratosphere here, if you were not able to attend the live streams today, I hope you were able to do something similar and make some extreme gains for yourselves. All right, also in the live stream, we got to watch these play out. Here are my micro intraday snakes on both AMC on the left, SPY on the right. on the 5-minute charts for today. And we got to watch the projection laid out in front of it, as you see, and then the fulfillment come in behind it in the form of today's price action, as you also see. Super happy, proud of those as always. They are kicking ass for sure. All right, moving on to the intra-week snakes and the macro comparatives. I do have some side-by-side comparisons of yesterday's projections and today's fulfillment, so we'll take a look at those. I'll try to be quick and get through this as fast as I can. On your screen is AMC and my current intra-week snake. AMC finished the day today down again 1.62%, down even more in after hours 1.75%, trading at $8.96. The current intra-week snake is the red snake that's on here that we have been fulfilling from its projection literally almost candle for the last 5 days. This is the straight up position of it. And once again, today we continued to fulfill it essentially candle for candle. We were sitting here in this position last night. You can see the downside candle after the ascending level of consolidation. Price action went right down to the bottom of it. We did temporarily breach the macro ascending level of support, and we popped right back up on top of it here this afternoon. If we can hold this level at around, well, we're just breaching below it as I speak about it right now, but we're sitting pretty much right on it. If we can hold 895 as support, I think we can get a continuation move to the upside and a continued fulfillment. But you can see the fulfillment here that we have gotten. I did frame this in the morning review that we had in the live streams because there was a W formation formed here that I wanted to point out. And if we got the bounce back up for that neckline break to the upside and did not come the whole way down in here, I wanted to have that in there. So that was the breakout level. I also put the support level in as a breakdown level. I had it up a little higher here, up around the 898 level, and we breached that and the macro ascending level of support to the downside there briefly. So you can see that it continued to fulfill the current intra-week snake in its current position. I want to pull up a side-by-side of last night's projection. Here's last night's video. This was Monday into Tuesday, and then we got the fulfillment yesterday to the downside. We had the ascending level of consolidation, the downside candle, and then we're working our way back up around it as we speak. So there is the projection from last night and the candle for candle fulfillment today. Once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for day 6 of this current intra-week snake. You can see what the projection is from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it. Now, if we look at this, and I've talked about these pivot points before, with the intraday micros, with the intra weeks, and the macro comparatives. Anytime there's an upside or a downside leg sitting there waiting to be fulfilled, it creates what I call a pivot point for the algos to switch from bullish to bearish, therefore putting in these inverted mirroring fulfillments of all of the snakes and or macro comparatives. We are right there sitting at one right now. So here is a mirrored position of the current intra-week snake if price action were to fulfill it in the mirrored position. If I place it, I want you to see how today's price action not only fulfilled candle for candle the straight up position, but it also fulfilled candle for candle, essentially here, of the mirrored position. The mirrored position, if I slide it over, was projecting downside, and then a move back upside, and then a continuation downside after a rejection. We got our move downside, our move back upside. This is where the downside leg would come. So once again, the 895 level to the downside, and the macro ascending level of support, which we are temporarily breaching right now. So the 895 will be the breakdown level for a potential mirrored fulfillment of this, and that pivot point acting as such. Moving forward into tomorrow and beyond, you can see what the fulfillment would be from it as well if price action were to continue to fulfill it. I know that was a lot. Bear with me. We're 10 minutes in and we only made it through the intra-week snake. Moving on to the macro comparative for AMC. A lot to get through today. As you know, I have used the previous double bottom from next door right here. I used it to project all of the last 5 months of price action, absolutely spot on. And I am currently using it, the blue here, in the flipped position on a hunch. And we have gotten fulfillment from the upside, triple top, box top, build out and fulfillment, the M formation neckline breakdown, and down into the bottom, the initial bounce off of the macro ascending level of support, then the pullback that it was projecting yesterday, and then this consolidation started happening. I said it looked like we had potentially overran this to the downside or hyperextended it a little bit to the downside, and it cautioned me to look at this potentially in a mirrored position, this fulfillment here of the macro comparative. So I did bring this out in last night's video in the mirrored position to take a look at. Here is the position of that and today's candle for candle fulfillment of it in the mirrored position. You can see what the projection would be from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it in the mirrored position. Obviously, we would get back up here either to the macro ascending level of support or potentially that upside neckline for a rejection and a release, and then a continuation to downside if it were to continue to fulfill it in the mirrored position. However, if this were, like I said, we're on that borderline of either fulfilling the upside or the downside right now. So, and here with the macro comparatives, we're intertwining between two of them, right? The straight up position and now the mirrored position. But if you take a look at this here from a macro perspective, we have a W formation forming. And if we follow the mirrored position red and then converge back to the upside with that neckline breakout with the straight up position here of the blue and put in that W formation, that would be something I'll be looking for moving forward into tomorrow and beyond in characteristics of movements regarding that potential fulfillment if it were to converge back with the straight up position, and then obviously, like I said, the rejection and the release back downside if it were to continue to fulfill the mirrored position of that macro comparative. So there is that. Let me pull up the side-by-side of it from last night's video. Let me minimize this. Here is the side-by-side from last night's video with the upside fulfillment, then back downside. Then we started the consolidation briefly right here. And this is when I presented this as downside potential fulfillment. And there's the candle for candle fulfillment of it. So last night's projection, again, today's 100% candle for candle fulfillment of it. Then we have Ape. Real quick, I don't want to get into the details of the intra-week snake, but it's not quite at a point that I have enough confidence in it yet, but we are coming up on the 1 week fulfillment of the intra-week snake that I clipped from last Wednesday. You can see the previous fulfillment all of that time from last Wednesday till now, and you can see the continued fulfillment to the downside today and what the projection is from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond. I am going to be looking for a potential new intra-week snake starting tomorrow from this. Obviously, it would require a divergence from the projection for me to clip a new one. So if this diverts from it in any other way than fulfilling this bounce going into tomorrow, I'll be clipping new snakes. That interchanging of this one to the next one is what I'm looking for confidence moving forward. Then up next is GME. GME finished the day today down 4.02% in regular trading hours, down an additional 0.14% in after hours trading at 28.60. The current intra-week snake that has projected and fulfilled 4 weeks worth of price action breached and mirrored to the downside like we have talked about. I did show this last night in this position with a potential for this to be a mirrored fulfillment of the downside continuation, and if that were the case, was expecting a bounce off of the 2960. That is not what happened today. We continued downside, breached the 2960 right down to the next level of support at 2853, and we have put somewhat of a small bounce in there. So we obviously are continuing downside fulfillment of this in that position, and you can see in this position what the projection would be from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it. Obviously, I can slide this down a little bit and it will still be valid right there. So there is a little bit of wiggle room as far as projecting the move down and how far potentially that price action may go. Obviously, I'm just going to key in with this coming as close as it is to the macro ascending level of support. I'm going to key in essentially there on that $24 level as a possible downside fulfillment if price action were to continue to fulfill it. Then we have the macro comparative. And as you know, I've been using the previous double bottom just like AMC, and I've used it for quite some time. In the mirrored position, it was projecting a bounce back upside off of that 2960 level last night. That did not fulfill. We breached back downside like we talked about. So I looked at this in its straight up position again for the first time in a long time, because I felt like that could potentially have been a mirroring again back to the straight up position. And you can see here the resemblance of price fulfillment. So I went ahead with that position. And looking at it in that position, you can see the previous fulfillment to the downside, all of this price action most recently. You can see once again today, it fulfilled candle for candle, and you can see what the projection is from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it. That is everything that I'm looking at with GME. Last but not least is SPY. SPY finished the day today down 0.76%, currently up 0.07% in after hours, trading at 395.45. The current intra-week snakes are as follows. The red is the day prior to previous divergence. The green is the day of the previous divergence. The green, let's go with it first. Its straight up placement has been right there. We fulfilled this to the downside since its placement. And you can see, as of last night's video, it was projecting a little bit of consolidation here in the form of one more 4-hour candle and then an upside move. We got the absolute opposite of that and a downside move on that 4-hour candle that was projecting upside. So obviously, if price action were to continue to fulfill this in the straight up position, it would require a hell of a bounce back upside and a convergence back with it. However, again, a potential pivot point, right? If this were to have pivoted, Algos were switched from this potentially going back bullish and they just stay bearish in this scenario, and this were to be a mirroring of that upside projection to the downside, I do want to look at that with you real quick. Here would be the placement of it. And in that placement, you can see the fulfillment over the last 3 days since the initial mirroring to the downside, away from that upside projection potential, and with a little bit of an overlap here. And you can see what the projection would be moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill this in the mirrored position. Then the day prior to divergence, it is already in its mirrored position. And in its mirrored position, as of last night, this was the placement of it. Right there. And the projection for it today was candle for candle fulfilled with that rejection and downside move. And you can see what the projection is from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it in this position. Let me pull this up. There was Ape, by the way. This was the projection from last night. We continued fulfillment today to the downside, and then I showed you that. Here is the intra-week snake that we're looking at. In last night's update and prep video, the projection for continued, the move up, the rejection and continued downside, the move up, the rejection and continued downside. So here is yesterday's projection and today's 100% candle for candle fulfillment. Then we have the macro comparative for SPY from the 08-09 correction and crash. We've talked about this being in two possible positions, one of which being a peak on peak placement for that head and shoulders formation. And in that position, we had diverted to the downside here off of that neckline break, back downside instead of fulfilling that bounce to the upside as you see it there. I did say I'm going to keep tracking this in case this was a downside fulfillment of the upside projection and then a potential convergence back with it moving forward. So that's the placement of it and the fulfillment and what it looks like for today's price action. Here's the side by side of it in last night's video and the continued fulfillment of it today. Then we have the alternate position of this, which seems to be the more valid position of it. One little notch over there. And in this position, the projection from it going into today was this continued downside fulfillment. And that is what we got candle for candle. You can see what the projection is from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it. Here is last night's video and projection for the continued downside fulfillment today. And then obviously the back upside moving forward into tomorrow and beyond. And here is today's fulfillment of that projection from last night. So last night's projection, today's fulfillment, 100% candle for candle once again. My friends, my family, that is everything that I have that I am looking at and looking for with AMC, GME, and SPY. And that is everything I have for this video. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you very much. Do not forget to smash the like button or the dislike, assholes, on your way out. It would be greatly appreciated. Let me know in the comments how you did today. If you were not in the live stream, definitely let me know how you did. Live stream peeps that were here today, if you want to let them know how you did in the comments today during the live stream, show up in the comments. Let me know how y'all did today. I hope y'all were able to do something for yourselves and make some extreme gains today. I will get an update and prep video out tomorrow night after market close, just like this one. Good luck in the market tomorrow. Make some extreme gains for yourselves, and I will talk to you all on the next one. Take care. Later.